Well, I decided that I really need to buy a parts washer, or I'd like to have a parts washer. I was getting ready to take some of those parts from the Atlas lathe down to the garage where the guy I know who owns the garage, he lets me use his parts washer. He's a real nice guy to let me do that, but it's just kind of an inconvenience to keep going back and forth. So I said, why not just invest in a parts washer? I mean, Tractor Supply and Harbor Freight both have a 20-gallon model that's like $100 new. So, why not just get one of those? And I decided just for the heck of it to check on Craigslist, and I mean, just to give you an idea of what's out there. There's the barrel style; it's very popular. It's $150, and it says safety clean parts washer for sale. So that's not exactly none of these parts washers are in my neighborhood. These are all about an hour drive from me. Here's a handy clean for $35, but then when you look at the picture, it looks a little long in the tooth, and it says right in it that it's the cabinet without the pump. So the pump probably gave up the ghost a long time ago, so that's not so great. And then I came across, let's see, where is it? Oh, here's another one. This is a 25 gallon. It's a little bit bigger, but again, looks like it's been around the block. And then I saw this nice, well-made parts washer for your shop, $50. And when I clicked on it, I couldn't believe what I saw. Take a look at that. That thing looks like it's in really good shape, and it looks like it's a pretty good sized one. That looks like it's bigger than a 20 gallons. Not the barrel style, so that's the type that uses the sump. But it took some persistence email wise, because I wasn't getting any responses initially, and was worried about it being an issue with Craigslist system where they send you they send your email anonymously and vice versa. So guess what? Got a call back today. First thing the guy said was, he says, I really must underprice this thing because I got a ton of emails, but he said, you were one of the first responders and you're the most persistent, so I'm calling you back. So, road trip.
It's nothing to do with anything.
Well, no. Rainy day.
Has nothing.
Rainy day in New England. And we're on the highway. And GPS says we got about 60 miles to go, and I've only gone about 3 miles from the house. So the good thing is this is located in an industrial park right off the highway. So it's just mostly highway, but we're still looking at about an hour, a little under an hour drive time. And I'll stop for lunch somewhere in there. And, it's a lot of drive time, a lot of behind the wheel time, but I think the deal I'm getting here on the parts washer is worth it to me. So, we're 17 miles from our destination, and it's raining harder, so that figures. Oh well, brought my raincoat. Oh, U.S. sub base. Well, there's a nice looking Five Guys burgers and fries. I've never seen one looking like that. Maybe that's what they look like all around the country. The one they finally built up in my neck of the woods is just in a regular commercial building that they were leasing. Well, we're almost there and it's still raining. Whoop! Just missed it. He said it's in a like an industrial park, but this is kind of a rural area actually, so it's a small commercial industrial park, and I just missed the entrance. There we go. Mystic Business Park, and he said none of the buildings would be marked. But he said he's up at the very top of the hill in the corner. Left corner, I think he said, so. There's the hill. Just keep going up the hill. I can tell we're in a port town near the ocean there. Boats everywhere. See, left corner, I think he said, so I guess that's going to be this building over here. There's a good sized boat. Alright, let's see. Okay, I see some cars. That's a good sign. That might be the boat shop over here too. Huh.
I just called him and he's meeting me here, but he had mentioned that he had moved it outside, so I just took a ride around the back of this building and there she is. Well, not taking my camera out in the rain because this is my better Sony camera because of the problems I was having with the Bloggy that everybody was complaining about. Ah, it fell over. Well, I didn't do a very good job of strapping it down because of the tapered legs. This strap slid down. I had it strapped up here, and that gave it enough slack so that it's flipped back when the wind was hitting it. And then the cover flipped open violently, and I already damaged it. How do you like them apples? Oh, you dummy. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it down the other way so that this doesn't want to tend to flip open. Now if I just laid it in there like that in the first place, I wouldn't have this damage to contend with now. But hey, you know what? It needs a new switch, a couple other little things here and there, so I know it needed a little bit of work on it. What do you want for 50 bucks? Well, stop here at Tractor Supply. This might be where we'll buy our cleaner because I stopped at Napa and talked to my counter guy at Napa, and he said the only stuff they had was this biodegradable stuff that was like $95 for a 5-gallon bucket. So I don't want to spend that much. So here's what I got. I got 5, 10, 15 gallons of Tractor Supply's PSC 1000 parts cleaner that they sell with their parts cleaners. This stuff is about 42 bucks plus tax each. So you see that's came to almost 140 bucks because I also bought for 5 bucks. I bought a can of Rust-Oleum. What do you think? Pretty close on the color, huh? We'll spruce it up, spruce this thing up a little bit, especially where I'm going to have to pound out the corners on the cover where I damaged it. So I took a total guess on the capacity of that thing. It looks bigger than a 20-gallon unit, and so I'm assuming it's either a 25 or a 30-gallon unit. Now I noticed that on the 20-gallon units that they sell at like Harbor Freight and Tractor Supply, even though they call them a 20-gallon unit, you don't put 20 gallons worth of cleaner in there. You put less, I think somewhere like 12 somewhere or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but I think when they call it a 20-gallon, I think that's the total volume of the whole cabinet, I guess, or tank, for lack of a better term. So I'm not sure, but that was plenty of money I just dumped on cleaner right there. So I'll start with 15, hope that's enough. And quite frankly, if I find that 10's enough to get by with, I might bring 5 gallons back. Alright, I cleaned up a spot here on the basement floor so I can get some plastic down and get that parts washer in here to paint it. Well, somebody I know was coming by in their truck and I flagged them down and borrowed them to help me carry this down the bulkhead stairs, which was really helpful. It's not too heavy. 2 guys can do it easy enough, but alone it would have been kind of a chore just because of the size. So my first thing I want to do is, it looks like it's just a long rod used for the hinges here with some nylon self-locking nuts. So I think if I take the nut off there, I could probably take that rod out, and then I should be able to remove the lid so that I can work on straightening out this damage to the corner that I did. Pretty sure I did that. Well, the battery died on the other camera, so I had to switch back to the Sony Bloggy, but you may have noticed that the picture quality is suddenly good again on the Bloggy. I figured out what was wrong. I'd inadvertently, when I was working on the Chevy truck repair, inadvertently left it out overnight under the truck. And what had happened was a film of moisture had gotten underneath the lens, in front of the actual pickup unit and the actual lens on the outside of the camera, in that area in between. So you definitely don't want to leave these out in a damp environment. So the reason why it's good now is I couldn't clean that lens, so what I ended up doing was I removed the outer cover. So this thing looks, well, if I let's see if I can find a mirror. Yes, I murdered the Bloggy. The little pickup unit right there. That's nice and clear. The back side of the lens, that's part of the cover that covers this whole front that I broke off. That is what was it's got a film on it. I tried cleaning it, and what I discovered is that it looks like the optical coating that's on the lens got damaged by the moisture or something. I don't know what. It may have even been diesel fuel that got on there. This is actually, I just noticed this mirror needs to be cleaned. Anyways, so that's unfortunate that I ruined this camera. Oh well. You know, one of my complaints about this camera was that it didn't have a tripod mount, and what I just discovered in the process of going to take it apart is actually, can't show you, but on the side here where I'm pointing with my finger, right here, there's actually a threaded hole for the tripod. Oh well.